Well, Cliff, they're always trying to hang labels on you, and here's another one I've just heard, the Barbara Cartland of pop. How does that strike you?
Mind you, I'm using about as much makeup these days.
I wouldn't have thought so, really. But you don't mind that, do you?
No, I don't really. I mean, I think, although sometimes I feel that labels are a bit of a pressure. I mean, the Peter Pan, I've not heard the Barbara Cartland one before. I don't know whether it's that bad, is it?
I like Barbara Cartland.
Well, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
But actually, it's the Peter Pan and Pop one that was really a difficult one, because it's always a stress on age. They're always stressing, oh, you know, the young, energetic, etc. And you know, I'm 30 now, and it's it just puts a pressure, because the expectancy from a crowd, you know, everyone expects you to come bouncing on. I mean, as it happens, I still do it. But I just wonder what's going to happen one morning when I wake up and it's all lying on the bed beside me.
The answer when people try to get compliments, they say, do I look 35? And you say, not anymore. You're a sportsman, I know that. Did you see the fight?
I did, yes. I watched it. And I can see why you're wearing glasses. It was touch and go. There was a time, wasn't there, when everybody got really worried, I'm sure. Well, I don't know whether you were, but we were all worried.
I think everybody was a bit worried because of the fact that my eyes were so badly damaged.
Yes.
It always looked like he could do that or that again.
What do you think of boxing, actually?
Well, I don't know. It brings out the absolute worst in me, I'm afraid. And my backing vocal group were here with me, and we were talking about it, and they were saying, I mean, you know, you do tend to get it. Go on, hit him.
Oh, hit him? That's quite mild. Slap him hard.
Yes. I'm never quite sure. I mean, obviously there's a great... When they said that you weighed in at, what, 8.5 stone or something, wasn't it?
No, 8 stone, 13.5 pounds.
See, when they said 8 stone, 13.5, I thought, blimey, I could knock him over.
Yeah.
And then of course, I watched it.
Yeah. Shaking hands is pretty frightening, too. What do you think, Wendy, of the fight game?
I can't watch it. I can't watch it. When they get hit, it hurts. I can't bear it. I can't watch fighting. That's because I'm a girl.
Did you box at school, then?
Oh, no, I didn't box. I had a lot of fights, though. When I first moved from India, where I was born, to England, I was very swarthy, you know. Obviously, I had a great tan and everything. I have to fight hard to get it now, but at that time, it was relatively natural, because I was glowing the whole time. And I got called indie bum and all that, you know. And people kept jumping at me. I don't know. I mean, it's just ridiculous, really. But I fought a lot at school, funnily enough. I came home in tears sometimes and bruised and stuff. But I gave quite well, really. And I always think that if I was trapped in a corner, as I was many times as a young kid of, like, you know, 8, 9, 10, I used to get very frantic. The thing about boxers is that they don't actually get passionate about it. I mean, I don't know that boxers... Or do you lose your temper? No, you must do. If someone wallops you in the eye, you can't say, oh, you know.
No. You can't really lose your temper. It's controlled aggression.
Yeah. But, I mean, mine wasn't controlled.
You were quite handy at field events, weren't you?
Yes, I did quite well at school in the sports area. I mean, I used to throw the javelin, you know, and I had this school record for the under 14-year-old javelin. I mean, for ages I used to get sent this program every year when the school sports day came, and they sent me this program, and it had under 14 record held by H. Webb. And that was me. And I had that for ages and ages. And I ran quite well. I always played, I hated rugby, but I always played when they wanted me to, because I was really fast. And they just put me on the wing. Is it the wing where you do all the running? The guys used to throw the ball up, man. I used to run like mad. No one caught me. Straight down the side, so I never got walloped or anything.
Oh, it's when they tackle you, it's nasty, isn't it?
Oh, I never got any... Oh, no, I stayed out of that lot.
You're looking very sharp indeed. Have you always been fashion conscious, from way back?
Oh, yes, I've always had style. No, I heard you mention about the pink jacket. In fact, when I first started singing, you know, Elvis was the prototype. And there was a look and an approach to rock and roll that all of us tried to emulate. And in the area of clothes, though, I do think that in Britain I was probably the first of the sort of, you know, bad taste dresses that we all take. You know, you're talking about painting your face blue and all that, you know. We didn't quite go that far, but you did try to be at least different. So I had a pink jacket made, and no one had worn pink jackets before. Men had never worn pink, let alone jackets like that. And I got the old luminous socks and stuff. And I went out there trying to just be that little bit different.
It's a shock, in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we were just a sort of imitation of our adults. Very boring indeed. But Wendy, what did you wear as a teenager?
As a teenager? Oh, trousers. I had plaits. I had a woolly jumper because I was on the farm. I was one of those girls with a pony, you know, with plaits. I really was probably the worst dressed teenager in the whole of the North Riding of Yorkshire. But it wasn't until I went to drama school that I discovered that such a thing as fashion existed, and then I went raving mad.
Well, Barry, you're wearing a very unusual outfit here tonight. That's...
Yeah, my father says my tailor has a great sense of humour. I remember wearing the first... these parallel trousers came in. They were the first pair of long trousers that I ever wore. I used to wear shorts before that when I turned around the countryside as a young fella. And I remember the first pair of parallels. I got a wine-coloured, like a maroon-coloured pair. They were perfect, but they were too big for me in the waist, so I had to wear these braces, and I was at a disco. I was concealing these braces perfectly, and I was dancing, and whatever happened, I may have got too close to my partner, but the yoke went bang like that. So that was the last time I ever tried to go around too stylish, you know.
A future world champion. It's wonderful. So, Cliff, you got the look, and then you had to work on the act, of course, to go with the look.
Well, I mean, all of that came fairly naturally, you know. I used to read things. The Shadows and I have often laughed about this. People try to analyse why we did things. And they're always saying, well, of course, you know, it came from the sort of working class background and was trying to beat his way out of the environment. We just like singing rock and roll. And it's something we found we could do. So when I did a performance, it was just an expression of how I just felt about the music. It was a matter of having a lot of fun. And rock and roll was always connected with energy and dancing and stuff. So we made it up as we went along. In fact, people often used to say, who produced the act? Well, I mean, it was a joke, really.
But there were a few little tricks, weren't there? Little gimmicks.
No, well, they were all part and parcel of being a rock and roll singer. You know, the curl of the lip, you know, all that.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
I remember you doing that.
Yeah,
You don't do that anymore, do you?
No, I've grown out of it. I mean, I've done duets with, like, Marty Wilde, you know, and I mean, all you could see were lips in the camera. Everyone tried to do it.
And when you did it, all the girls screamed.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's try it out again once more.
It all worked. The strange thing is, you know, the first person that ever actually produced a performance from me was a TV producer called Jack Good, who did the original Oh Boy show.
Yeah.
He said, I want to film you just from the shoulders up, and I'll tell you when I want the lip to go. I can't do it now, but I used to be able to quiver the lip. Una Stubbs does it great.
Does she?
Yeah, fabulous. But I used to be able to quiver the lip and also go up. And he used to choose the, you know...
Looks awful.
I know. It's just dreadful.
And of course, you had the obligatory American accent. You couldn't sing like an Englishman, could you? Weren't
No,
allowed
what? Rock and roll, because it's an American form of music, it's still... Although in the very early days I twanged a lot more, you know, I mean, one did tend to sing a bit like that. But I don't do that anymore. I sing English, but there are certain words that defy. You can't say, well, do you want to dance and hold my hand? It just doesn't work, you know. So if you say, do you want to, that's all right, but dance it has to be.
But we don't say hand, anyway.
No, we don't, but if you said, do you want to dance, you've got to say, and hold my hand.
Yes, I see. It's a bit of fun. You're having to perfect the American accent at the moment, haven't you?
Yes, I'm just going to do a play in the theatre. I start rehearsing next week, actually, and we open at Guildford. And I've got to play an American, and I'm working on an American accent.
Which part of America?
Is it just a general
New
American?
York it is. So it's quite specific,
That's
you
a
see.
difficult accent.
Yes, so I've been watching Cagney and Lacey and those sort of things. And I've discovered a funny thing, that the Americans, you know how we speak with everything kind of open here, and I've discovered that Americans, they close everything here.
Oh.
I've got a feeling it's something to do with sinus trouble. Because of the air conditioning
Oh, it's
in
bound to
those
be that.
blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Because everything is shut off from here. And especially with women, it sounds awful.
I wonder, you know, I don't know whether, say in Northern Ireland, whether they have the same sinus problems, because if I try to do a Northern Irish accent, it all goes like, you know, I've been around Belfast now. As well.
But it's very
Oh,
damp
I'm doing that,
there,
sorry.
isn't it?
Well, we don't normally do a lot of plugs on this show, but this new enterprise of yours, the show called Time,
Yes.
you haven't done a stage musical before, have you?
No, I haven't. I've appeared in pantomime before, and I've treated those as musicals. Both the pantomimes that I did at the Palladium, I got the Shadows to write a new score, so there was no current chart material in the show. It was all stuff that was brand new. But of course, Time is it's a very special project. I mean, I'm really privileged to have been asked to play the part because it's going to be such an extravaganza. I am convinced that no one will have ever seen anything like it on stage in the world, and they've asked me to be in it. So. You know, I'm really excited about the whole thing. Although, you'll understand this, at the moment, I feel as though I've absorbed so much at rehearsal, I can't remember any of it.
Yes, I know. It's very frightening. Your mind absolutely boggles with how much there is to do.
Yes, they rush through blocking things out. When I say rush, I think it's necessary. You probably know, you've done plays and things.
Oh, yes.
And after a while, you think the silicone chips actually get overloaded.
Yes.
What is so extraordinary about the show, then?
Well, look, I'll tell you what. If anybody's seen Starlight Express, and they should, because it's wonderful, I've seen it 5 times, it's a very, very exciting, entertaining show. John Napier designed that. Apparently there are 8 hydraulic moving parts. We have 32.
You mean we as humans?
Pardon?
No, the set.
Oh, I see.
I must say, which says a lot about you. No, our set has all these moving parts, and it's going to be extra. I don't want to say anything because I think the magic will be to come and see the impossible take place.
You have to be very careful it doesn't swallow you up.
Well, yes, that's why I've insisted that, I've insisted, we've talked heavily about the fact that it is a rock and roll show. What originally attracted me to it was the music. I think the music's fabulous. So we've said, if the set is going to be this extraordinary, then we musically must also be extraordinary. So it's going to be loud, and it's going to be like a soundtrack. I think it's going to sound, when you watch it, will be like the soundtrack of a film. Often when I go and see musicals, the mics don't really come up until they sing.
No.
And then suddenly it sounds like a record, and then when it comes back to talking again, it's all reality again.
Mind you, that's not true of Starlight Express, is
No,
it? I mean,
Starlight
that
isn't.
is so loud.
But they don't talk in Starlight, you see. They'll sing nearly all the way through.
They sing all the way through it, but it was terribly
Fabulous.
exciting.
See,
but what I mean is, if all these sets are going to be swizzling around like they were in Starlight Express with great bits flying and bits joining up, you want to be careful you don't get in the middle of all that.
No, I think we're pretty safe on it.
Yes.
I hope so.
Mashed Cliff, what a terrible thought. Yeah.
Nothing in the contract about being hit by a hydraulic...
You should.
Well, now it can be told. You mentioned, Cliff, a little while ago that you've got your backing group with you, which will lead everyone to suspect that you are going to sing.
No, they're going to sing.
Oh, what are they going to sing that you might help them with?
My musical, which will be at the Dominion Tottenham Court Road, is going to have a lot of material in it. And I'm involved in about 11 of the songs, and one of the final songs in the show is a ballad called It's in Every One of Us. So that's what I was going to do tonight.
Will you? We'll do then, please.
It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart and open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. It's in every one of us. I just remember, it's like I've been sleeping for years. I'm not awake as I can be, but my seeing's better. I can see through the tears. I keep realizing that I bought this ticket, but watching only half of the show. But there is scenery and lights and a cast
cast of thousands who all know what I know, and it's good that it's so. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart and open up both your eyes. We can all love everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us, by and
It's been tremendous having all your company, so thank you very much indeed. Cliff Richard. Wendy Craig. And Barry McGuigan. See you next week. Good night.